Hi, this is Onyx Tarot, and today I'm going to be talking about this week. This week is a big week for everybody collectively. So, March the 10th through March the 14th, a lot of us are going to be really thinking about the future, okay, and really thinking about the goals that we have. So, a lot of you all may be thinking, oh, I may be able to do this. Like, there's something about your goals that are going to be much easier to grasp than in the past. You may be asking yourself, what direction do I want to go in? What do I want to achieve? What kind of life do I really want? What do I want to accomplish this year? And a lot of you as well may be in a place where you're like, okay, I could do this, but then that may happen, or this is going to take this amount of time, that kind of thing. And so instead of focusing on one direction, you may be thinking about multiple directions. Like, I could do this, or I could do that, or I could do this. So this week, again, is more so asking you to sort through your goals, sort through your ways of, doing things, sort through your motivation, sort through how you want to manifest your goals this week and how you're going to receive those, or how you're going to achieve those goals. So collectively, there are two types of goals and themes this week that kind of lead everything into two different categories. So the first category are goals that are ego driven. So you may be like, oh, I want to be like this, or I want to appear like this. I want to go to school so that I can be this. I want to, make this amount of money so that I could then buy this. I want to stay in this relationship so that I can appear like this. Or even down to expectations of like society or your family. I don't want to be in this scenario or this neighborhood or this family dynamic, but if I leave or if I change it, then people will see me like this. Whatever the case may be, a lot of our goals right now are like, the first group is more so like, I'm doing this job, I'm doing this role because my family expects it, because I want to be seen this way, because this is what people expect of me. If I do something differently, then I'm going to be going against the grain, that kind of thing. And I was doing a reading the other day, and it was kind of something like, a lot of us are walking away from things where other people, friends, family are like, wait, why would you walk away from that job? Why would you walk away from that person? I would love to have that job. You have so many benefits, or this person's so amazing to you. And again, that's kind of like what we want to prevent doing this week. So the second category is goals that are actually aligned with who we are and where our life is meant to go. So these goals are going to feel different. They're going to feel quieter, right? They're going to feel calm. They're going to feel maybe a smidge boring, right? They may not look as impressive on the outside, but internally they feel right. So this week is going to push a lot of people to recognize the difference between these two paths. Because again, if a lot of us are doing things based on, our friendships and our family members, or what's logical or what makes sense, we're kind of going to see that the universe, God, whatever we believe in, is basically going to, put little things in our path, especially, the second half of the week, right? A lot of things are going to be happening, not to you, but kind of for you to kind of shift you into the direction that you're meant to go into. So there's a pressure to choose a direction. So a lot of people are used to keeping options open, right? I want to achieve this, or I want to live here, or I want to do this job. However, I have time. I could do it this year. I could do it that year. I could start it in June. I can go to school in December. I could start this job or this career or entrepreneurship. I could just do that later. I'm just going to do what I'm doing right now. But again, the energy this week is not really supporting indecision. It's going to really push all of us to start narrowing things down. So it's not necessarily making every decision immediately, but it's at least choosing a direction. So once you choose a direction, everything else in life is going to start organizing itself around it. So, utilizing, the second half of this week to kind of say, okay, what do I want to do? Like, not with my mom or my siblings or society or my boss or my ex or this person or that person wants me to do. What do I personally want to do? And again, when you're thinking about this, what you're wanting to do, what your gut says, I would love to do that. Again, it seems like boring. Like, okay, check the box off, right? But again, there may be things tied to the thing that you actually want to do, tied to a big move, tied to a big career change, tied to a relationship change that may seem a lot more difficult than it actually will be. A lot of us are going to be protected and redirected in ways that we don't necessarily see right now, which is why I'm making this post, because I'm like, oh, the energy this week is so like potent, and it's going to be so easy to miss fine details. Like, say your relationship was doing okay, and then now there's a big blow up argument, and it's like, why is that happening, right? If everything was going fine in your career and then now things are shaking up with management or your day-to-day or your company or whatever, it's like, why is this randomly happening right now? Like right now at this very second. So a lot of you all may be experiencing forms of protection that you don't immediately realize. So plans may fall through. There may be certain things that you're wanting to purchase that may get delayed. There may be opportunities that might disappear suddenly. Maybe you're like, okay, they offered me this position and I have time to think about it. Like, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. And then it's just gone, right? Or again, there could be a relationship that you're in that's completely fine and completely normal. And then you have a disagreement. And then now it's just like, wow, is this even the person for me? There may be certain plans that you have that are there and then they're gone. Like, there's just a lot of things going on, and we are also in Mercury retrograde as well. There's something very important about feeling super sure about something, some direction, some purchase, some person, some relationship. And then again, it's almost like the carpet is just kind of like pulled from under you. Like, wait, this is not really exactly what I thought it would be. So this could feel a little frustrating if things are shifting now through the 14th. However, in most cases, it's actually redirecting you away from the path that was not meant for you. So maybe that job opportunity, or the promotion opportunity that someone was, asking, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, do you want to do this? And you're like, I need time to think about it. And then you go into work, they're like, oh, we gave it to somebody else, right? You may think, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. Like, that was not the right decision. But there was a reason why your gut told you, this may not be the right dynamic. This may not be the right situation. If there's a relationship and it's like, oh, things are going fine. And then you're in this like, rose-colored glasses. You're excited. You met this person, or you're in a good space in your relationship. And then ultimately something just completely shifts. It may be basically showing you what is underlying in this dynamic, or what you will actually be dealing with long term for the rest of this year with this person. Sometimes certain doors are meant to close, and that is your protection. Especially again, if we're going back to these goals that you're setting, where do you want to be? If there was no blockages at all, where would you want to be right now? What would you be doing right now? What would your morning look like, right? Does it include this person, right? Does it include this job opportunity? The things that are going to be, the doors that are going to be closing are going to be more so messages and confirmations than God or the universe or your higher power, whatever you believe in, than them punishing you or trying to make your day bad or anything like that. Like, no, it's this week is super, super important, because it's like, listen, where do you want to be? We're going to help you get there. So your inner critic could kind of start to get loud as well, as however this affects you, right? We all have different birth charts and, suns and moons and risings. And so this could affect you all differently based on like your sun sign, right? However, Whatever it is, whether it's relationships, whether it's job opportunities, whether it's your day-to-day, whether it's your finances, whether it's your home, your family dynamics, then comes the self-criticism. I should be further along by now. If I was at this place or if I was in this career, then I wouldn't have even missed that opportunity. I should have figured my love life out by now. Like, I was with this person and now it's kind of like, oh, this is not the person I thought it was, or the dynamic I thought it was, but I should have figured that out. I should have known, right? Or I'm at this age and I'm not where I thought I would be. I thought I would be at this point. I thought that I would be in this career. I thought that I would be married. I thought that I would be this and that. Like, so whatever it is, you may start to kind of like internalize the thing that happened. Like, wow, like into yourself, like self-criticism. And that pressure can become really intense this week. So that is going to be something that, everyone has to be really aware of. Also, this ties to my first point as well at the beginning of this podcast. Who are you comparing this to? Are you comparing you and your life and your timeline to someone else's expectations, right? You could say, oh, I'm at this age, so I should have this figured out. Compared to who, right? Because there's people that are your age and that are younger and that are older that may also not have a particular thing or career or relationship or dynamic or, habits figured out either. So this is going to be a very important week, not to kind of like take on other people's energies and other people's projections. So instead of getting wrapped up into all of that, okay, the real sacrifice this week is commitment. So when people hear the word sacrifice, they think it's like really bad. Like it's like giving up something dramatic. Like, oh my goodness, I just remember it like it was yesterday that I had to walk away from this person. But really think about that. The people that you've walked away from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, do you even like talk to these people? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do they play any type of factor in your life today? Do you wish you stayed in the job that you had when you were in high school? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so again, everything that is happening now as far as comparisons is going to be very important to kind of not see walking away from something as bad, because everything that's happened in the past, everything that you're comparing it to has led you to exactly where you are today. This week, the real sacrifice is much simpler. It's commitment. So choosing one direction means letting other possibilities go. It means accepting that you can't do everything at once. And for many people, that's the hardest decision to make. And again, if we go back to the main point, what do you want? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Where do you want to live? What job do you want to have? You get what I'm saying? So it kind of always goes back to, what do you personally want? Because once you know exactly what you're wanting, you're going to know exactly what to commit to and what to let go. This week as well, there's going to be a lot of distractions, okay? Like the energy is kind of like everywhere. So think collectively, we're all in the same boat, where some of us are like, okay, I want to do this and I don't want to do that. And then there's other people that are like, oh, wait, why would you do that? You should do this. You're wasting your time doing this. You should do that, right? So new ideas are going to appear, especially the more in tune you are with like your goals and what you want and what you don't want and your boundaries. Opportunities are going to pop up. Old people will appear, new people will appear, new opportunities, new job opportunities, new directions will pop up, new plans like, oh, I actually could do it like this. Things will suddenly look very exciting and very tempting, and you may feel pulled in many different directions. But the challenge this week is learning to pause and ask, does this actually move me closer to the life that I want? Or again, does it pull me backwards, or does it keep me stagnant, or does it keep me in a position where I am doing these things because everyone else wants me to do them? Towards the end of this week, so towards Saturday, March the 14th, and Sunday, March the 15th, many people will receive some form of confirmation. So this confirmation could show up as an opportunity, a conversation, a partnership, a message, an email, a job connection, or a relationship that feels really aligned. And it's going to make you say, this is the direction that feels right. So I do feel like, again, if you're in a space right now where you're like, okay, I'm not really sure what direction I actually want to be in, I do feel that a lot of you will know intuitively, like, oh yes, this is easy, this makes sense, like this is it. There's not going to be any type of like headbutting or friction when it comes to the thing that is actually really aligned with you. So if you're in the space right now, you're listening to this on Wednesday or whenever you're listening to this, if you're like, okay, should I go in this direction, should I go in that direction, I feel like giving it at least until Sunday, March the 15th, for you all to kind of understand, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I don't want to do, could be very helpful. And again, not seeing disagreements at work or disagreements in your relationship or your day-to-day or your job, not seeing these things as explosives, right? Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this is happening. Seeing them as, this is actually giving me the information and the confirmation that I need to get to the next step of what's more aligned with me, could be helpful. If you're going through the week and you're kind of like, okay, I'm not really sure what job I want or what job opportunity or what city I want to live in, or if this relationship is something I want to invest in long term, one of the ways that you can find clarity this week is by exploring ideas outside of your normal routine. So learning something new, researching other lifestyles. Some of you could be traveling or doing like a short road trip, reading about different cultures, studying topics that expand your perspective, again, hobbies, anything that is going to give you exposure to new ideas, or it's going to give you possibilities that you had not considered before. Even as simple as watching a documentary or, ooh, I want to live in this place, so let me research a little bit. Let me find some pages online that are, dedicated to this city or this country or whatever the case may be. That could be helpful. Anything that's going to kind of expand your horizons. Books could be good as well. Things to avoid this week. There are several things that can block your clarity if you're not careful. So escapism is one of them. Getting lost in endless research, entertainment, or distractions instead of making real decisions is another. So like if you feel, okay, this is not the right situation for me, or I'm not really sure what I want to do, so let me just kind of like, sit and binge watch these shows, right? Anything that you're doing to kind of like not sit down with yourself and say, this is what I actually want to do, could be things that will lead you to escapism. Some of you also should avoid overindulgence, or I guess we all should avoid overindulgence, but this week particularly. So spending money impulsively or making emotional purchases without thinking could be important. Anything that, again, is shifting you away from sitting down and saying, what do I want my life to be? I'm not sure, so let me go do this. Let me go hang out with my friends. Let me go order food. Let me go do that. Anything that is going to shift you from actually having the hard conversations with yourself could be good to avoid this week. Others of you could also wait too long. So there could be something where your gut is telling you, this thing, this opportunity, this way of doing things is probably not the best case scenario, but I'm going to wait it out. I'll just wait until like August. I'll wait until December. That could be an issue too, because again, it's avoiding the hard conversations of like where you want to be, who you want to be. Are you okay with where you're at now? Are you okay with your dynamic right now? Because again, this week is about decision making. Also, avoiding sharing your goals too early could be helpful because, again, like I said, we're all going to be in this collective energy where we're like figuring out where we want to do, what we want to do, where we want to be, what works, what doesn't work. So this week, projections could be at an all-time high. So keeping your goals private for now could be helpful. So that other people don't feel like they can give you their opinions or their doubts or their criticism. And also, people giving you advice like, oh, you shouldn't do that, that could actually steer you away from the very thing that you're actually supposed to be doing. Okay. So take this week to reflect versus announce, oh, I thought about doing this, because you may be literally like right on point. You may be right on point with what you're supposed to do, but then you said this to a couple other people and maybe they have more experience. Maybe they've been there, done that, and they're like, oh, no. This is going to take too long. This isn't going to work for you. And that's just not the case. It could be also helpful to think bigger than usual. So taking this week to think creatively about your future could be helpful. So not thinking too realistically, like ask yourself what your ideal life actually look like. If everything worked out perfectly, what would your day-to-day look like? What would your daily life look like? Where would you live? What would your routine be? What would your work feel like? Like, how do you want to wake up? That kind of thing. What city do you want to wake up in? What neighborhood do you want to wake up in? All of these things. Really think about these things and allow yourself to imagine the possibilities, because they can actually reveal surprising insights like, wow, I actually want to chill in the morning. I actually don't want to wake up at this time. I want to wake up at this time. I want time in the middle of my day to work out. So what does that mean? Maybe I should join this particular gym. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, I want to live in this city, but it's going to be a little complicated. My whole family's here and this and that. But regardless of all that, like really think about, what do I want to do? Where do I want to be? If there was abso-freaking-lutely no blockages in the world, what would I do? Also, going back to, more information. If you want to start this new career, why not grab a book about it? Why not look at a video about it? Why not talk to someone that's actually in this career and say, hey, what is your experience with blank, blank, blank? So following your interests, reading new topics, exploring new ideas can lead you all to unexpected signs and confirmations. Again, when you're kind of figuring all this out and looking into, oh, I could do this, I could do that kind of thing, let me gain more information, question your limiting beliefs. So if you have thoughts like, oh, I'm too old for this, or I'm too young for this, or I don't have enough money, or this is going to be hard, or my whole family's here, if I was doing this and it would be complicated, or it's too late to start this, or that'll never work. That is like not the place to go this week. Ask yourself everything that you say, oh, this will be too complicated, this will take too long. Ask yourself why. Why not? Why not you? Because if you challenge your beliefs, especially this week when you're kind of planning out your future and your next steps and how you want the rest of your year to be, challenging those beliefs can open the doors that seemed impossible. And like I said, as this year goes by, especially as the summer comes, a lot of you are going to realize that like what was not seemingly possible right now in March could actually be possible in the summer, could actually be possible by the end of this year. One of the main things for this week is devoting yourself to your own life. So many of you may kind of see that you're building your lives based on expectations, again, from family, from friends, from society, from other people. But eventually you're going to reach a point where you have to ask, is this actually the life that I want? Do I actually want to be in this dynamic? Do I want to be in this career? Do I want to be in this relationship? Not does everybody else feel like this is the best thing for me? So devotion means treating your own goals with the same care and commitment that you would give to someone you deeply love. So it's almost like taking yourself, like stepping outside of yourself and saying, if I looked at myself, at 90 now, what would I tell myself? What city did I want to be in, or what job did I want to do, or how much money did I want to make, or what kind of family life or career life did I want that I just for years or decades said, oh, I'll do that at another time because it doesn't make sense. That kind of thing could be very helpful too. Kind of like pouring into yourself and understanding that you're important too. What you want is important too could be very helpful. overall, it's going to be really important this week to understand that change is coming very fast. Like, the energy is picking up. Within the next couple of weeks, a lot of you are going to see major shifts related to the decisions that you're making right now. So this is a moment where choosing the right direction can set the tone for the rest of the year. Because again, if you're in a space where you're like, oh, I'm just going to stay in this thing, this job, this career, this relationship, this dynamic, this habit, because my other friends are doing it, or my family expects me to do this, or it just wouldn't be logical, or any other path would just be too complicated. You may be stuck exactly there throughout the rest of the year and basically revisit this whole podcast next year. Okay, so this is a time for you all to really say, okay, what do I want to do, so that, it's going to be easier to kind of devote yourself to making that happen. Last but not least, releasing negativity is going to be very important for this week. So letting go of the negative voices that say that something isn't possible could be helpful. Not doubting yourself, not comparing yourself to other people, not feeling like you need to prove yourself to other people could be very helpful this week, because the opportunities that are coming forward towards you all are really for people who are willing to believe that a different future is possible. If you're in a space where you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to stay where I'm at and do exactly what I was doing, again, you may be in a space where you're shortchanging yourself and kind of stuck in a cycle that you've already outgrown. So that is our very first podcast, and that is the podcast for this week. As always, feel free to share your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm very excited about this podcast. I will be doing it every single week, and doing like the collective themes for you all. So be on the lookout for that. And eventually it will expand to every single zodiac sign. Like, you can kind of check that out likely on Substack, how it's going to affect your sun, your moon, your rising. So that's what I have for you all. Best of luck, and see you soon.